Ejay'S podcast. Let's go. On this episode, I'll be talking to some beautiful boss ladies, and they'll be sharing their life experiences with us, how they manage their lives and how they manage their businesses, the cultural differences, the challenges, and the benefits that they enjoy here. Welcome once again, ladies. To my right, I have Hey Beauty representative here. She's the boss, the owner of Hey Beauty. Please introduce yourself to me.
Thank you. My name is Ojolakwe, and I'm the owner of Hey Beauty Collections. It's a fashion business, and we deal with so many kind of things. Just all about fashion.
Great. And to my other right is Miss Ejay. She's also a CEO herself. Please introduce your brand to the people.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for inviting me. My name is Ejay now, but you can call me Ejay. And I'm the owner of Beauty by Ejay. And I'm a beautician and I'm a makeup artist as well.
Thank you very much. And to my far right is the popular Miss Tobo. Please introduce yourself to the people.
My name is Tobore Toje. I'm a student here in Finland, and I aspire to start my own business soon fully.
Low-key boss lady. She doesn't want to tell us too much, but we'll get back to that. Yes. I have to ask Miss Ejay though. Being a young lady who's moved to our own country, from our own country to a foreign country, there has to be a lot of challenges.
Oh yes.
Please shed some light on some of the challenges you face personally as a young lady living away from your country.
I think the first challenge for every black person here is the weather.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
Dramatically.
I was born in the north where it's always 38 degrees all year long. Imagine coming to a place where it gets to minus 28, so I can understand that.
Yeah, I think that's the first challenge you face coming here, and maybe the long winter.
Dark nights, dark days.
Yeah, I think that's one. And also the culture, particularly the language, which is extremely difficult for every foreigner. I think we can all agree to that, because the language,
I mean, I've been here for so long and I can't still make a sentence. I'm
embarrassed. It's like a virus that you just have to keep in your body.
I mean, you know, I don't know how everybody gets to manage it, but it's really difficult learning the language. I think Tobo, I don't know if Tobo speaks.
I think the major challenge is that where the country we come from, we speak more of English, and if you want to translate English to with Finnish, you are getting it all wrong.
Totally wrong.
So that's the major challenge we have, learning the language. So you have to forget the fact that you can actually speak English and think of it that okay, you don't need to translate it into English. Just learn the language.
Just learn the language on its own.
On its own, not trying to translate, because it's always a blunder.
I think she had a point, because I realized that now I'm a Togolese, and I have the advantage to I've learned many languages already, and I think most of Nigerians that speaks only English, or maybe in their native languages, of course, they still have that manner to want to, translate Finnish, which I didn't do. I just went ahead and I studied the language.
Went with the flow.
Yes.
And I think like we don't get to learn the language because we might not really have a use. We are not compelled to learn it.
Yeah.
You can still just look at you. You're doing fine because you really don't.
For the record, I'm not really doing fine, but I'm okay.
You're just trying to be humble.
But you can still do basic things compared to some other countries where you're compelled to learn the language.
Maybe that's part of the things that we enjoy here, the fact that even without a language you can still survive and do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you now, being somebody who's married, owning your own business, how do you keep the balance between family and business? Family and business, because I know how important it is. For me personally, it's a lot of work, even being a man, to balance, business, work, and then the family.
Yeah. I think we can also learn from that.
I'm sure I'd like to hear it.
I think every day, I'm still young in this marriage thing, so I'm learning every day, and to be honest with you, it's still a challenge for me. But I think everything even for single people and married people, we all have challenges.
Yes.
And we just have to strive to overcome this challenge.
That's true.
I don't have a particular schedule or a particular process that I follow.
No me time, just time as it comes, you just do everything together.
But the good part is that when you have someone that can actually understand you and you can work together as a team, it would really help you.
A support system.
Yeah.
What you said now actually leads me to the question to the ladies, because you both are not married, I understand. She's talking about yet to be married.
Soon.
She's saying that, you know, the most important thing for her is the support that she gets.
Yeah.
Being a young lady who lives here by herself, you know, no family is far away. What's your source of support? How do you manage to get the support when you feel lonely?
You should answer.
You know, because I mean, even for men, as a man, before I got married and settled down, I know the stress, I know the trouble that comes with being alone. So I can imagine for you women, what are the difficulties that you go through being, you know, being young ladies by yourself with no support system here?
Well, I think it has to the first thing is, how were we before we came here?
Very important.
So were we independent, or were dependent on
The
someone
family,
or family or something? So if you are used to that independent life from your country and you come into Europe, I think it helps a bit. But of course, along the line with the weather, with the cultural shock, then there's no how. There's a point where depression wants to come in.
You break down.
Then you just want nothing. Some people are doing it. You get. So you just try to bring out that your me self, that no, this is not me. So what do I do? Mainly, maybe sometimes I can start fit farm. Then I remember, okay, I'm not going to the gym for some time. Then I go to the gym.
Just to take your mind off of
or maybe try like different recipes of food. That's what I do. Like I just mix things together to just keep my mind off the fact that okay, you are just there alone. Whether you like it there, you can't be that strong.
Yeah, there has to be a breaking point.
There has to be a breaking point. But of course, we come back stronger most times.
What about you, Miss Ese?
It's definitely very challenging to be on your own.
I can imagine that.
And especially, I've actually, when I moved here first, I was really wondering, like, it's very rare to find a Finnish lady that is living by herself alone.
Yes.
You realize that they quickly move together.
Get into a relationship and moving with their boyfriend.
Because of financial issue.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so expensive to be single.
Exhausting.
I mean,
it's exhausting.
So we can count you both as millionaires, sort of, because being all by yourself, and they're boss ladies as well.
But being millionaire, but it's really expensive.
In fact, you won't even see the money.
But it's really expensive.
I think also, even as not being a single person, I remember when I had my baby, I felt like I was alone.
Yeah, oh, that's that.
Do you get that?
Yeah, that's true.
Phase
that's
also.
True. That's true. That's very correct.
You know, it's a change. It's a transition. It's not just being married now. You know, back home we get all
kind of support
from families,
moral,
mothers, everywhere.
Financial support.
You know, there were days I was going to, and then that falls back to the support system. There were days I was going to like go into like postpartum depression.
Just start thinking about all the stress.
And then I was always feeling, I would just wake up and then I'm probably crying or something, and then my husband was just like, no, you don't do this. And then I'll just snap back and get out of that feeling because you feel overwhelmed.
That's true. That's reality. So I mean, you were saying.
Yes. I think another thing is that what I do is that I realized now I'm engaged.
Yes.
And before that, I realized that I was really keeping myself busy. I mean, really busy, because anytime I have too much time,
that's when all the negative thoughts and all the things that come in.
Things can get difficult, heavy. So I was really into so many things. Now I'm still into a lot of things, but now with a relationship, preparing, waiting, and a lot of things, I try to draw some things and,
Well, I think the Hey Beauty is just kind of...
We can't wait to...
to style them and everything.
Yeah, so, well, anyway, I think, well, there's grace, you need grace.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, grace and all of that, but it's I think it's also, it's important as an individual to be mentally strong. I think mental, you have to be very,
strength.
Because...
But how strong are you actually doing?
That's... now, listen, she said something about after having the child and feeling all that. As a man, I felt that way at some point when we had our child. So imagine how the woman was feeling.
Yeah.
So, you cannot be strong enough. That's something that we have to establish. I have to ask this, and this is an important question because you just mentioned now that you're engaged, you have a fiance, which I believe you met here. I don't know how the story is. Is it harder to find love abroad?
So I was single.
Or would you rather look for it from your home country? Being a married person who actually came all the way.
I brought my love.
Oh, you brought...
I came with my love. My love brought
So
me.
So the question is not for
doesn't
you.
relate to you. I think you were starting. So let's hear your view on that, Miss Essen.
You said something about it depends of what you're looking for.
Yes.
And I can say yes, it's easy. No, it's not easy. Now, for a kind of person I was 2 years ago, yes, it was very easy.
Yeah.
But for who I am now,
Today, yes.
it's not. Why? Because a lot of things has changed about me. What I actually wanted about a relationship, and who I am totally changed. So
yeah.
for that for me now, it will be very difficult to be with a foreigner.
Yeah.
Because our black community here is very,
very big and strong. Big
loaded.
and strong. And literally strong.
Don't listen to them. I mean,
Big and literally strong.
we are really small, the community. I mean, no many black men and, to choose from.
We still have a single brothers, but
Do we?
unlucky for them, you are off the market, so we'll have to see about that.
Yeah, so it's if you're into something like, oh, let's have fun and let's date for a while, then it's very easy because of the culture of the people that are here. That's what they do usually. They don't really think that far.
Long
they are
time.
into, oh, I love you today and me too.
And then tomorrow if you're
But
tired.
hey, like an African, we have that mentality. Like you go into marriage and you want to die with the person. You want to get married. And
forever together,
that forever thing. So that one is very difficult to find from here. But now, as a young lady here, it's even difficult to find from Africa. Because once you're here, people look at you like, oh, the Europe girl. And the relation you have with them is very difficult. So actually, it's not only
real with you.
Yeah, it's not only like looking for love here is difficult. Now both are
Both
difficult
ways.
from Africa and from here. That's what I think.
Yeah, let me add to the fact that getting someone from Africa, it comes to the point where they see you as being proud, even when you are not proud. Like for instance, if you have an argument with a so-called guy that maybe prospect, then you are giving advice. Then it looks as if you are being
authoritative.
Yes, authoritative
because you're over here.
Because obviously they don't know your financial status, but indirectly they think you have it all sorted out. So that's like a major challenge for. I think that I faced anyway.
Yeah.
That because sometimes I'll just almost run crazy. What's the problem? What's this? But you can't think for people.
Yeah. True.
So you only know yourself, and you can only believe in yourself. So I don't allow people really define who I am.
Yeah.
Of course, it's going to get at you, and
but you just have to.
But you just wave it off and just move on. So I think it's quite difficult. Like she said, with it depends on the kind of lifestyle. So if it's the normal go to club,
just have fun and enjoy for the moment,
it's easy. And it's easy to also divorce, you know. But if you know what you want,
you do it online. Excuse me.
Oh, you do it online.
You apply to your divorce online. You
don't even need to go anywhere. So I see. These are the now. This actually brings me to the question to the Hey Beauty was Lakwe was married and all that. There's a big cultural difference here. I personally don't run my family with the cultures here. I apply a few from here. I take most of it from home, which is the respect part, the part of, of course, now I'm talking about applying for your divorce online. Imagine having a problem with your partner and then all of a sudden she's online just filling the divorce, As a woman who has a family here, do you subscribe to all the cultures here?
That's a very good question. Personally, I don't subscribe to all the cultural characteristics that they have here. I'm a typical. I'm a typical African woman.
Yes.
And there are actually some things that are not so good from our own culture too, which I would not embrace while raising my child.
Yes.
Because we all want the best for our children.
Definitely.
And I also see that we won't be here if the culture was entirely bad. That means we can actually adapt to some of it. So it's not really, there are some things as well that they dish out. The white people might not also take it as well, but not like they are not dishing it out. Not like that's not what they want. So when I see such things, I embrace it. I don't curb it away. Those are the things I pick. The good things I pick. The ones that you think are good for you. I imbibe into my kids. Like beating a child is wrong. Yes.
And we were being beaten.
And you know this. It gets to the point that a lady might not even want to discuss with her mother because of the way she would react. But here, it's more direct. You don't have to be so formal. Even in school, you don't have to call you don't have to shake before you talk to your professor. You just address them with your first name.
I can remember Africa. Oh my God.
Well, I think Professor I think it would be very wrong.
It's a problem.
True. It would be very wrong for any African. For any African, sorry to cut you. It would be very wrong for any African to come here and keep that same mentality. Because now we're here, we can see. Huh?
You'll be put in.
Because the law doesn't even allow it. And even if the law allows it, now, being a father myself, now I understand that conversation with your kid actually makes more difference than spanking of the kid and being, violent with the child and all that. Whereas we, as children, I think I was beaten till I was 16. I was 17.
I think I was the only one that my father didn't really beat.
Oh, man.
Because by that time, he was quite enlightened and he saw it that...
I don't know if we were so bad, but it's just, that's just the way. That's the way that our parents think. I think I'm sure 98% of people from Africa can testify to that. But now, speaking about culture, there is this split 50-50 culture here. Whereas, if you're with your husband or as a family, the woman takes 50% of the cost, you take 50% of the cost. I don't know, in the relationships, I've had a few which have also been, the same thing. What's your take on that?
Well, it's a good question. But we actually have different styles of running our homes. Because that's the trend, doesn't make it the standard.
Yes.
My family standard is not based on that. We can spend my husband's money and we can spend mine.
Oh my goodness, spend my husband's money. That had to be the first thing out of your mouth.
Oh yeah.
I don't know when we raise this topic, I'm sweating now because every time I think about my bank card, I always...
The same way I spend his money is the same way he can spend mine.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I need to explain this to my wife.
That's why it's comfortable for him to drop his card with me because he knows that we both own it. So I really don't see...
So transparency basically.
Yeah, we don't even have to get to the level where we have to cut it. Now you pay for this half, I pay for this half.
But I think in their case, understanding came first.
It has to be.
Yeah, because you need to understand yourself before you can actually be transparent.
It has to be. Mine was a little different because of course I met my wife here. We've been friends for many years. So when we first moved in together, we had to split the cost because we were running it like a Finnish.
Yeah,
you know, we're like, okay, this is the system. Yeah, you're working, I'm working, you pay your half. So not until we got married, I'm like, okay, listen, if I have to wear the pants in the marriage, then I think I need to. But now, you know, speaking to you ladies, would you want it the other way around, or
like
would you
50,
rather?
50.
Yeah, or would you rather? Because let's not forget, it takes in the society here. When it's a 50-50 split, it gives the woman also some sense of power.
Yeah, I think that's
sense of authority that, okay, I own the house too, you can't, you know, or I own this too, you can't. So what's your take on that? Because it's kind of, you know, it falls a little bit on this side and falls a little bit on the other side.
It's very tricky though, if you ask me, because the first thing is love.
Yes.
If you love yourself, then you should be able to share anything with each other. No matter what the thing is, no matter how huge your salary is, no matter how huge your income is, you should be able to like understand yourself, then build trust in yourself. If you trust me that I will not, of course I can have this shopping habit. But when I understand you that okay, you don't really like you don't mind me doing that, but you want me doing it when it's necessary, then I understand you. So when I want to do my shopping, it will be different from when I was single. I would always put him into consideration.
You consider the family.
So of course I don't mind like having a joint account. I don't mind if I truly love him and he loves me and we understand each other. So I think it's even easier to manage the family funds that way. But if you are doing the 50-50, then I can be like, I'm entitled to my money, I can use it on anything. It's not your business. I don't see that as love.
What's your take on that, Miss Ese?
Wow, I was just really thinking about it. Now, what's that 50-50 is not a good idea. You can see the result in every Finnish couple.
There's always a dispute,
it's
and
not,
actually makes it easy to break up, I think.
That will let me pay 50% of the house. For somebody, I already have a very strong character. And I will not even know before, I will share the authority with that. I mean, I'm just speaking
because if you are bringing the same
if I pay 50% of everything in the house, then
you share authority.
We share the authority, and it's not something you might even want to do, but it's just unconsciously it will just come like that.
Because you think you also have
somebody like me.
Yeah, because if I'm bringing this particular amount every
and it has to be like shared and things like that, you know. So somebody like me, for example, I like to buy things like even now that I'm in a relationship. I shop for the clothes and things like that. So I would rather let my husband pay the bill. And I actually happen to have a fiance that is very good with managing the money. You know, like the main, like the account that he will use to pay the bills is better he takes care of it. And then I would rather like have an account that there are some money there that I can shop things. So I would really, I think for me though, it would be better if he is the one that is in charge of the, financial, even I can actually trust my fiance with my money because he's really good. So he can have charge of that. I mean, I don't really want to stress and because I can also shop a lot.
So you need somebody to.
Yeah, it's better if he's in charge. So me, I have my own money that I can buy things for the house, and that's enough for me.
Of course, that's I understand that part. But then, when you live in a society like this for a long time, where it tells the woman that you have to stand your ground, you have to be able to make all the decisions, which is great because, of course, we know how demeaning it is in Africa. The way we treat women isn't the greatest way, but here it's a lot better because people, we respect women here. We appreciate them much more than we do back home. But at the same time, it seems that the society doesn't encourage women to actually live. You say you will let your husband take care of the account. the finances. I think the society doesn't really encourage women to do that,
No,
which in a lot of relationships or marriages, that happens. There are problems like that because I have a few friends who have spoken to me about it. Yeah, there's a few black people as well. I don't actually have any family
that are in charge,
friends.
like the man is in charge of the.
Where in a case where the woman does not entrust, she will not entrust her own earnings to the man. They don't necessarily split the cost, but you earn yours, I earn ours. If you want to pay for this with yours, great. Well, we'll do something else with mine. Do you get what I'm saying?
So she can get from the guy.
So he's taking care of, basically the point is they take care of the family one way or another, not necessarily 50-50.
Okay.
But she entrusting her own earnings to the guy. You know, so it's a bit of a, because I remember he spoke to me a few times and said, listen, I don't know how to get her to trust me with her money.
I think, sorry.
You can.
I actually think some men are not so good also with
managing
funds.
money.
And if I'm a woman that I've noticed that every time my husband is with 5,000 euros, he's always changing to 700 euros. in 2
and
weeks,
there's one money with you.
you know, in 2 weeks or in 3 weeks.
The money is almost gone.
You know, I will be smart about it.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, it boils down to you. If you both get broke, how are you going to survive? How are you going to move on?
Yeah, that's why I was saying that in my own case, I happen to have a fiance that is good. That's what I
finances.
say. Now, if it wasn't the case, I would never.
You never
You know,
entrust.
you just,
You never entrust,
I would never. And I don't think it's about culture. People that are here, they do what they do, but then it depends on your partner. Do you trust him with money? Then you'll be able to let him, you know, be in charge. But if not,
she's really saying the right thing because I am an accountant.
Yes.
And I also graduated, I had my master's degree in international business management.
Yes.
I have been able to manage my finances.
Yes.
And also my husband's finances, which he sometimes entrusts to me. Just the same way she has said that she is comfortable with a man because he's able to.
He manages the funds.
Yeah. So I see it that it depends solely on the kind of person you're dealing with. If he is competent enough.
All right. So I'm going to have to ask you this, as you know, ladies who are single or have been single, is it good, or would it be advisable to experience something totally different from your own culture or somebody from your own place? In the sense that, is it necessary for you to at least have gone out with a Finnish person one time, a foreigner for one time at least, just to experience it? Do you think that's something?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please ask the question. Because I asked this question because I realized that African women, Nigerian women in particular, they always tend not to. They don't want to date outside of their comfort. Outside of the comfort means people that they know, who are their own people. But I think if you have lived in a place like this, because I doubt that majority of the guys here, we have all, gone out there to see what these people are really about. So I don't know if it's the same thing with the women. Do you at least want to go out there and just try it one time? Just, okay, I've also had this experience before. Or is it like, no, this is a man's thing. We don't really go down like that.
We did. I think, like what I said earlier on, it has to be like your kind of person first. Because, okay, what kind of lifestyle do they have here when it comes to relationship? Does it go alongside with what you can do or what you believe in, or what you're looking for exactly? And if the lifestyle doesn't suit your lifestyle, then it will be difficult to want to try and experience something else. But if you are just a kind of free
open
kind of person and
okay,
let me just see how it goes, then that means you are not thinking of the future. You just want to enjoy the moment. So that's why I wanted to ask a question.
Well, but if you say that, are you now saying that it's impossible for you being an African lady to find love in a Finnish or foreigner?
For me, it might be difficult because I have this kind of
ideology of what your man should be like, of black
what I want
standing.
to see. What actually attracts me.
Okay.
Okay, so I can't go. I can't.
You got to go into detail.
Like, the eyes are very important.
I have to tell you that the truth about that is it's a myth. It is a myth.
Yeah.
It is a myth.
Can we know?
It is a myth in the sense that African women are like, oh, black, macho, and strong. There's a lot
I'm
of
not
foreigners.
even like kind of a macho person anyway.
Okay,
like
so
before, funny enough, before, if I see a guy that is too built, I'm turned off.
Okay, so you weren't in
Before,
muscles,
because you know when you are in an environment where there's always violence, like with couples and all that. So I had since when I was young that this mentality that this one if you give me one slap I'm there.
Yeah, so you know what?
So I had that.
So you rather the smaller guy who's not really.
In fact, I don't mind.
Okay,
but if you're going to the gym to carry weight, it's trouble. I just. That was then, but of course, then I was not sorry. Then I was not the gym kind of person.
Okay,
now I understand the
know
essence of working out. It's not about building strength and all.
Yeah.
It's just about the health issues and all. So now I'm.
So you're
not very. Not that bad.
You were gonna say something.
Yeah, like it's very funny how people are different. Because me, any guy that is really tall, that's how I look at it.
That's
like,
a first attraction for you. So it doesn't matter if he's coming with a black skin, brown skin, yellow,
now,
whatever.
I have. I think I can basically date anybody. Now I'm just the opposite of her.
What she is, yeah.
In that way, I don't have
a preference.
Actually, I've dated a Finnish person before.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't have that like culture or skill base. But then, of course, like every woman, you have your taste.
Yeah,
and,
the kind of person that
like
you
the kind of person, and I'm kind of open. I think but now I'm actually off market.
Yeah.
But I could have married anybody.
It doesn't matter where they're from.
If I love the person.
I mean, would we say it is a Nigerian thing? Because I don't know. Of course,
with the women.
With the women.
I actually think my growing up, I was always like, how does it look like to be with a white person? you know.
Experience how much of
as a kid, you always get to think it in your head.
This leads me to the last question. As a married woman, running a business, you have a child. And I'm asking this because it's also a challenge that I face as a person. How is it managing all this work, families, running your business and all, and still satisfying your marital duties?
It's really tough.
Because, sorry, before you answer, African men, we're used to the fact that we come home and there's food.
And there's food on the table.
You don't want to come home and then start, here it's a different thing, but this is how we're brought up. So we come home, meet the food there. I'm sure there are nights where you can't prepare the food, and there are nights when daddy's home with the towel around his waist and madame is like, nigga,
I'm off.
No, so it has to be.
I'm tired.
It has to be.
Of course, there are times I will say no. Nothing this night.
You should go.
Bros, nothing this night. Please, let's be on our.
Yes.
There are times you won't even be in the mood, even though I'm not tired. But I'm not just.
It's like you're just over it.
Yeah, and the good thing is that men should respect this. African men, they see it like food. They see it like.
Let me drink my.
Some people say it's food.
They don't say it's the food for them. Actually,
but
I'm going with them. It's the food for them.
I can't argue with you people because it is food. Listen, what you people don't understand is this, and I don't know if I should speak for all the men or majority of them. At least I can speak for myself. This is the way, as an African man, I think this is the way that you're able to take away all the stress. I see that way. After a hard day, in fact, I don't want to eat, I don't want nothing, I just want to go in the room and,
just do it.
That's
But you eat like physical food after.
Now we can consider the physical food, but that food is the most essential. That's what's calm me down. Then you come like, okay, yeah, madam, finally you have done your duty. I love you.
Let me tell you something. My husband doesn't like something. When he's like, babe, let's just do something, and I'm like, Okay, you want to do? Okay, do it.
No.
And then my husband is
that's
like,
a problem.
no.
That's a problem.
I'm not doing anything
the
anymore.
excitement is not there.
You get, but then you know, I know sometimes I treat him not so good, but I compensate him. Sometimes I'll just send a message like, babe, can you come on?
Oh my goodness!
And then
there's March.
within 15 minutes, my husband is home. He has 5 minutes. He has never been that fast from the city center.
I can never be too busy for this.
And then some nights, I just wake him up in the night. Baby,
come and get some.
Let's just have fun. And then the days when I can't do anything, he's also like, okay,
you can understand.
Fine.
That's true.
She's usually not like that.
She tries.
You know, so
I know my compensation will be better.
Oh, that compensation is always we are always
and then the next day
once
when
I've accumulated it, I'm always with because the compensation is always the best. And if it happens on the weekend, oh my goodness.
the next day I get some nice text messages or like I just sent you something. Use it to get a bag or use it to get
compensation.
I know guys,
that kind of
they do that.
do that.
I think all men should learn this. It's always important because that keeps them coming back. You know, like so you can do this. This guy enjoyed this so much and he's back.
And managing the home, the business might not be so easy. Like especially when you have a kid. Sometimes my closet is so rumpled, rough, and everything. Yeah. And then I'm like telling my husband, please, can we just clean the house together? Because I can't do this. And sometimes he'll be like, okay, I'll just help you do everything. You don't have to join. Yeah. And sometimes he's like, I'm really tired.
You go do your thing.
You just have to do everything because I'm really tired. And I understand too because he's not an idle person, he's an entrepreneur too. So we just have to manage ourselves.
It's an interesting view. But another final question for our ladies. How would you rate our men abroad? When I say our men, I mean we.
You can also answer the question.
I mean, you've met a few, you know a few men around here. How would you rate them? Do you think they're responsible enough? They are well off enough? They're respectful enough? You know, we have to put all these things into consideration. How would you rate them?
Actually...
Or rate us, because I'm one of them.
Now, you know, I got to a point in my life, I was even wondering if I would go for a black man at all. Because in Africa, there's that thing that gets into their head, like I'm the man, that I can't really take that personally.
The controlling.
But here, it's good because especially after they've actually tried one or two white girls.
And it doesn't work.
So that demand kind of thing will come down a bit.
Yes.
And I realized that like that they are better because they learn a bit of, you know, they know that a woman can be, you know, she can be like, how do you say that? She's independent and he knows how to respect that. So I think personally, you know, a black man that in Europe that has a vision that is you know, he's sure, he's mature, worth like a lot. So I think they are doing well. Black men, especially nowadays, they are educated. You know, I think they are doing
what
very
to do and what not to do, how to take care of women.
Yes.
What's your take on that, Mr. Ogo?
I'll go with her, and also the fact that, you know, there's always this ego from Africa that's like they have to take responsibility. So of course when you now come here and there's this 50-50 thing, the woman would appreciate basically that, okay, I need to appreciate, because working here is different from working in Africa.
Definitely.
They are different experience. So like the ones I've seen so far, they try their best, especially the married ones. They try their best to make their home peaceful.
Yes.
So I think, and if you have a peaceful home, I don't think there's anything else more you can. Because if it's peaceful, then every other thing is...
That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Last words. Your advice for a young lady or a young girl who's before I even ask that, what's an ideal age you think for a lady or for a woman to leave her country and move abroad? Your ideal age would be what? an ideal age that you think she'll be able to take care of herself, manage the responsibility, the cultural shock, all those things?
23 to 25.
Between 23 and 25.
Most girls these days are usually quite mature.
Yeah, at that age you should be ready.
Yeah, and at that age they are probably done with the university, and then they are able to take care of themselves alone.
Yeah.
So
do you agree with? I mean, what would be your suggestion?
Yeah, I think I'll go with her like around that 25, because younger you can be really influenced by the because there are a lot of bad things around. It's very sensitive for a very young girl like 18, 17 to come here. I think she'll be
influenced by so many things.
She
might go bad.
My last question would be, what's your advice for young girls who are moving abroad? You know, young ladies, young women, within the age bracket that you've mentioned. What would be your advice for them? Let me start with you, Ms. Ese.
I think they have to really, they shouldn't lose the value they have from home. I'll still go with what I said earlier. They should, if you're an African woman, then be an African woman. Keep those good things that we have been taught by our parents, like that.
Yes.
And then when you come here, you have to be a fighter. It's really difficult to be abroad. You need to be strong. That's what I want to say. Yeah.
Ms. Ese, Ms. Toba, what would you say?
I think I'll just say a little more with what she said, because determination matters a lot.
You have to be determined.
You have to be determined. You have to know, like, follow the reason why you came here first.
You have to have a goal, a purpose.
Yes, because if you don't have a goal or a purpose, then you can be easily misled.
All right. What about you?
We have so many opportunities abroad. We don't get to see them. Except you dig for them. It's just like gold.
You have to look for them.
And then you know the process the gold passes through before it becomes a jewelry.
Yeah, it takes a lot of work.
It's usually not fine. So you have to get through a lot of cutting, a lot of refining, a lot of burning before you come out as gold. But you can get out as gold, truly. So you just need to dig deep, search, research, talk to people, make network, make connections, good connections. And then there are so many opportunities, we just don't get to see it. So many ways to become a better person, so that we just don't get here and just get stuck. And then it's just like slavery, because you leave a place to come to another place to get better,
and then you continue on the same
path. Keep living your life the same way. You're not moving forward, you're not going backward. Stagnant. So everyone, not only a girl, anyone trying to come abroad,
dig deep.
When you come, look for better opportunities. Don't just stay relaxed. Just like she said, fight for it, look for it, and you get better.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you, ladies. This has been a wonderful episode. In fact, this actually has to be my favorite episode, because talking to you women, I've opened my mind to certain things that actually picked up a few things that I can use in my home as well, in my marriage. So thank you very much for coming. We appreciate Hey Beauty. We appreciate the Beauty by Essay. And we appreciate Ms. Tobo for all the knowledge.
Thank you.
Ejay'S Podcast. Subscribe, like, share, post. You can always learn from something like this. Cheers.